Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which means it is once again time for one of our weekly viewer specials. I think you all know the drill by now, but for those who don't, we do this every single Monday. I showcase games from you all, the viewers, as a way of not only exploring what other players are up to and finding cool new decks, but also it's a great way for us to come together as a community and cheer each other on. And again, just see what kind of cool decks and or situations we find ourselves with. So if you are interested in showing off one of your replays for the viewer special, then all you need to do is go to the description below in this video. One of the links there is going to be an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex. Under the Master Duel section, there is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you can put your 9-digit player ID, so that way I can see your publicly saved replays. Please do make sure that your ID is entered correctly and your replays are set to public. If neither of those things are true, then I cannot view your replays. Like I said, we do this every single week, so while I can't get to everybody who submits every week, I do try to, work in a nice mix of people who are new to submitting and people who regularly submit. So, you can submit as many different games as you would like. The only thing I ask is that you don't submit the same game multiple times over and over again. But if you've got 15, I think is the maximum amount of replays. If you've got 15 different games, you can submit 15 replays. That is a-okay with me. All right, I think that just about covers our bases. So without further ado, let us go into your games. Okay, the first game for this video comes to us from Boy in Yaki, who has a game playing, let's see here, it is Fiendsmith Labyrinth. Well, that's the Yubel, sorry. Oh, it's Fiendsmith and Azamina with Labyrinth. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware there was a build of Lab that played these two engines as well. You really can just put Fiendsmith and Azamina in literally anything and it will be workable. It's not always going to be necessarily an improvement, as I found out with Sprite, but that might be the case here, that some amount of Fiendsmith and Azamina can vastly improve the Labyrinth strategy. I know we're particularly playing a virus game plan, and this replay is absolutely going to highlight that, but I do notice that we're also on the Azamina Aphis, so we have that normal trap card to kind of offer some amount of synergy between the Azamina and the Labyrinth archetypes, so that's pretty cool. Oh, also, for tributing with D-Dev and Eradicator, you can just tribute Diabellstar for that. That's also, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, it does seem like there's a good bit of natural synergy between all those archetypes, which I was not expecting. That's very, very cool. Good catch. All right. Our opponent looks like is going to be on it's a 60-card Exodia deck. Wow. They are playing all of the board breakers here, aren't they? And 1 Day of Peace. That's really weird. This person kind of seems like they're trying to, actually go for Exodia. A little bit? I don't know, but then we're also playing Mound of the Bound Creator. This is kind of a protagonist deck a little bit. And when I say protagonist deck, I kind of mean somebody who's like, I want to play all the anime protagonist cards. I want to play Exodia and God cards and Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, which to be fair, those aren't in this deck, but and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to stress that there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't always lead to optimal deck building, but you don't have to be on an optimal build to be having fun, right? Right? Yeah. So, let's see how this game plays out. Yeah, quite eager to see Fiendsmith Lab in action here. Alright, looks like we are taking the first turn. It's pretty good for us. This hand's also looking pretty good here. We got Ariana and a bunch of pretty good normal trap cards here. So, gonna start with normal summon Ariana, adding the Welcome Lab, set 4, and then pass right on over to our opponent. Let's see what they end up doing here. All right, leading with their one of Fiendsmith Engraver in the 60-card deck. But, you know, as much as I say that, the 60-card deck is always going to open something, right? You know, as much as I immediately lean into that, I have to admit that that's actually a trope that I'm, like, I think it's kind of a pointless statement. Because people will say it about literally anything the 60-card deck opens with. Like, oh, of course the 60-card deck had Maxi. Of course it had Ash Blossom. Of course it had Grass. Of course it had Brand Diffusion. Of course it had blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yeah, they got to open something, right? I think people see a 60-card deck and are like, how do they not open just 5 Garnets? And it's like, well, ratioing is a thing, right? You know? And 60-card decks still do that, but... Lullaby of Obedience coming down here. We're chaining both of our Welcome Labs, both Welcome and Big Welcome, to summon both Lady and Lovely here. Lovely going to rip the... Kurikara Divine Carnate is what that was. What do they call with Lullaby here? I missed that. They called Lovely. Okay, I see. So we were chaining the Labyrinths. That way that we wouldn't have a Lovely in our deck for them to reveal. That makes sense. Alright, so we can Trap Trick, set Eradicator. And also the different dimension ground. Wow, that's brutal. That doesn't really do much against Millennium, though, right? Because Millennium plays like Defissure, Shifter, and Macro anyway. But still not bad. And that's any monster. Okay, it's any monster. I wasn't sure if it was your opponent's monsters or any card or your opponent's cards. It's any monster sent to the graveyard this turn. Got it. Okay. Alright, shield for Ankh. Getting 2 Ankhs there. Oh yeah, one off Sengen Jet and then one off the shield, I guess. Okay. Here's Ankh for the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. Moving to battle phase, they're going to battle into the Lovely Lab. Thankfully, our opponent's only at 6,000, so in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really deal that much damage to us. We don't really feel super threatened by it here. Passing over to our opponent here, the Spell Trap Negate on the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate might prove to be a bit of an issue here. But we can bait it, looks like, with the Big Welcome Lab, and then when they go to activate, we can simply chain with Imperm. I mean, I call it bait, but I think our opponent really did have to activate here. So we can not only use Lady Lab, but we could have also used Eradicator there if we really wanted to. That said, the Exod isn't going to destroy the Lady Lab, so there's not necessarily a need to do that. Also, very cleverly, you'll notice that we set Transaction Rollback off of the Lady Lab. So all that Exod did was just get the Eradicator into the yard and alongside with the rollback, make it much, much easier to activate. That was a really good play, Boy and Yaki. And sure enough, here is that rollback for the Eradicator, calling spell cards. Oh, taking the Ankh and an Ultimate Slayer from their hand here. We get to normal summon Ariana to add Chandragleer. Chandragleer F, going to pitch that alongside Arius in order to set Big Welcome. We're able to reset regular Welcome as well, battling over Sengen who wakes from a Millennium. Now our opponent's really in top deck mode, and being under Eradicator means that, ooh, spell cards like that Melody of Awakening Dragons is not going to do enough. What are they adding off of that? I actually don't even know what they're adding off that, to be totally honest with you. This is kind of a protagonist deck, isn't it? Again, nothing wrong with that if that's your jam. That is A-okay. Alright, so we get to add off the Ariana. We get to add back Chandragleer as well. We can't quite battle over the Millennium Shield just yet, but I don't imagine that'll be a big deal in the long run. It is worth noting that it cannot be destroyed by spell or trap card effects, though. So, gonna go Dragleer, pitch the Transaction Rollback here. Transaction Rollback we can activate even in the same chain link, going down to 12, 25 life points. The rare single-digit life point coming up here. Setting Big Welcome Lab, and then activating the Big Welcome Lab in order to... Oh yeah, we can just bounce the shield, of course. That's not destroying it. And there we go. Yeah, I didn't really get to see the Fiendsmith stuff in action alongside the lab stuff, but that was still an excellent replay showcasing the usage of Virus. Also, a lot of good chains from Boy and Yaki there. Very well played. Thank you very much for sharing. We do still have a couple of games to check out. Let's go into the next one. Okay, our next game comes to us from Tuzio. What's up? Hope you're doing well. We are going to take a look at a game from him here. And let's see. We are on a very, very cool Lightsworn deck. 60 card Chaos Bestial Lightsworn. With Horus as well. Horus Bestial Chaos Lightsworn. Love to see it. That is a very, very cool list. And looks like our opponent is going to be on... it's Centurion. Okay, Centurion with a Horus package, as well as a bunch of extra tech. Wow, 3 of the bonds? That's a lot. That's a lot. They're playing a lot of extra Centurion cards here, aren't they? It's an interesting build, but yeah, I love this style of deck. Of course, the big 60-card mill pile decks are always a treat to see. Always a treat. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, we're on reasoning too. Good stuff. All right, we're going to lead with the reasoning. Let's see what our opponent calls. They're going to call Maxi is what they're going to do. Sure. All right, let's see what level they end up calling. 4, eh? And they just immediately mill Mudora. That's interesting. It's been a long time since I think 4 was the right level to call on reasoning. I think the right level is like 2 or 8. If I see reasoning in 60 cards, I'm actually going to assume it's paleo. Of course, it is definitely viable to play in a deck like this, more so. Or more, more than viable is what I meant to say. But I would call 2 or 8 for that reason, to try to hit, like, well, I'd just call 2 to be safe, trying to hit the common Paleozoic cards. So, being under the maxi, looks like we're just going to go for Imseti and Hoppy and then pass, as our opponent's about to do Centurion stuff. Now, thankfully, Centurion is really not that great at OT King. Even, I don't think our opponent's build is necessarily the most optimized, but even on optimized builds, it can actually be hard for Centurion to OTK sometimes. So, I think that having Hoppy and Imseti here should just be enough. We're adding True Awakening, which is the Counter Trap Omni. Set 3, Summon Magnum Hut. We're going to chain the Mudora here to stop them from summoning the Magnum Hut. Also, we get to put back their Primera, which is very good. Now, they're going to summon Baldrake here, or try to, but we can simply summon our Magnum Hut, targeting the card that Baldrake is trying to banish. So now we stop both of their Bestial summons. And again, now that Primera is back in the deck, they can't set it off of the... they can't, rather, put it in the spell trap zone off of the Auxilia, which is going to completely shut down anything they can do on the follow-up turn. So we know they have the Counter Trap Omni Negate. I think it's fair to assume they probably have a Phalanx as well. But, ooh, that charge was a fantastic top deck. Oh, that was such a good top deck. Milling a Wolf there as well. They're going to chain Magnum Hut on the Wolf. That's fine. Honestly, that's fine. We get to add the Lightsworn Dragonling. Magnum Hut F, whatever. We know they have a Baldrake in hand, too. Oh, they have a Veiler as well. Wow, that's brutal. It's annoying. I don't know if it's brutal, but... So we know they have a Baldrake in hand, too, that we got to be concerned about. Chaos Space giving us an extra draw. Maybe we can dig for something here. Ooh, Desires. That's not a bad top deck at all. Going for Lubellion first to try to get some Bestials out of our deck. Looks like they've got a Call-By for that. So they have a lot of Graveyard Banishing here, which is particularly not great for us, as of course a very Graveyard-focused deck, right? But we will persevere, going for Zombie Vampire with our Horus monsters on board. They're going to imperm before we even activate the effect here, which we can still activate to detach and then summon back the Hoppy. That's a very good play there. Using the King Sark, they're going to chain Baldrake on the Judgment Dragon. Wow, our opponent is just itching with that yellow button trigger, aren't they? They are on yellow button turbo here. All right, now we're going to go for Desires. I want to see what we banished off of that. Our draws are pretty interesting here. Ooh, left, that actually is pretty good, potentially. But what did we banish here? Ooh, there's Grass! No, that's so tragic! Oh, that's tragic. The rest of the stuff is negligible, it's fine, but no longer having a Grass search off left arm offering is a bit unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world at all. We're going Seyfried for Minerva here, the rank 4. Once again, that trigger finger from our opponent is going to cause him to immediately activate Baldrake, which plays right into our Horus monsters. Hoppy gets to add back charge and put the Minerva back into the extra, while Imseti is going to get rid of that last face down, so we no longer have to deal with a counter trap Omni. Going for charge, we can add another Lightsworn Dragonling here. We milled Weiss, which lets us summon out the Goroth, moving into battle phase. King Stark sending off the Auxilia, battling over Baldrake, smacking them with Goroth and with Zombie Vampire. Moving into main phase 2 and then end phase. They get to add Rebellion off of Magnum HUD here, but they don't have a whole lot else. Alright, going for the Rebellion. That's negated because of Call By. Their own Call By, mind you. Alright, here they're going for Emeth 6, really. And then Gargoyle 2, sure. Oh, they're actually making a rank 8 with those? Oh, because they're on a Horus package. They are playing rank 8s. They're going for the Hope Harbinger Dragon. Oh, and is this Typhon on top of that? No, it's actually Zeus on top of that. A Centurion deck playing Zeus is kind of insane, honestly. That is wild. But I guess now they can go normal summon Primera. They don't have a card to send with the field spell, though. So... Wait, no, so you shouldn't have activated it then, because now you can't do the main phase effect. Opponent, what are you doing? Okay, draw phase, they're gonna summon Emeth 6, whatever, that doesn't mean anything. No charges on the Zeus, they're gonna summon Primera. Oh wait, they can go into Legatia here, can't they? I think that's actually exactly what they're about to do. That's why they played the field spell. That makes a little more sense now. A little more sense. Oh no, they're going for Auxilia. What? No, you're supposed to go for Legatia. Opponent, what are you doing? Adding one of their 3 Centurion bonds. We're going to use the Dragonling to send Felice. To be fair, if they had Legation pop Dragonling, that probably would have made a difference. I guess we'll see. Summoning Felice. We are synchroing here. I guess we did use our normal summon, right? No, we didn't use our normal summon. Okay, never mind. I don't think it would have mattered. Well, we would have had 2 tuners, but then we could have gone into the Minerva and tried to mill something. We would have had plays, even if they had played a little more optimally here. Suffice it to say that we definitely still would have had plays in a situation like this. So, all right. Thank you, Tuzio, for sharing that game. Much appreciated. Still got one more to check out. Let's go into that last one. And our last game for this video comes to us from Bayed. Bad here has a going second game where they are playing Fiendsmith, Azamina, White Forest. Ooh, you're on Blackout Laughs. That's a pretty good tech, actually. I like that. Always eager to see builds for this deck. Oh, you have some good royals here, too, with the SP. That's nice. Always eager to see how people build their White Forest decks, because there's so many different ways that you can build this deck right now. It's actually kind of insane. I see you're also on Double Stellar. I've been liking the second Stellar. I think it's nice. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's nice. All right. And what is our opponent playing? Our opponent is playing Fiendsmith Yubel. So yeah, I think a nice going second game into Fiendsmith Yubel is a good way to round out this video for this week. I do remember having a comment asking me to show some more like meta decks in the viewer specials. I tend to try to show off sometimes decks that I don't normally play, but I understand your request for more games like that. It's definitely something I've heard. Okay, so we're going to max C after they summon Unicorn, and we're going for the Imperm on the extra deck rep. That's a little gutsy, but I understand it for sure. Chaining Foolos to their D-Lotus, and they're actually going for it. Wow. So we get to draw 2 here. As the Spirit of Yubel set the Nightmare Pain. Activating Nightmare Pain to pop the Spirit of Yubel and add Gruesome Gravescormer. Is our opponent going to just play into our Maxi and Fuelos here. Are they just going? Oh, they have Droll and Lockbird. And yeah, I guess after the second Nightmare Pain... Well, they can't search off Yama. What else can't they add here? They can't add Engraver to hand and then use the effect to go for Attract, which is kind of negligible anyway. But they're going to Droll us. That makes more sense. Going for Phantom, Gravescormer for Spirit, Tributing Requiem, here's Engraver, now we can link into the sequence. Also, why Phantom in defense mode when we have Nightmare Pain up? Anyway, sequence F here, putting back the Lacrima and Moon of Closed Heaven in order to summon out the... Oh, no, not Lacrima, they put back Moon of Closed Heaven and Requiem to summon Lacrima. Yeah. Okay, now we're linking Engraver and Sequence into Yama, which they can't add off of because of their own Droll. Engraver F to put back Sequence to summon. Okay. Now we're overlaying for rank 6. Is this Caesar or Beatrice? It's Beatrice. Okay, interesting. Why, I wonder? Beatrice to mill Sharvara. Oh, are we gonna... summon... We're going to summon it off Muckraker. Okay. Huh? Wait, we're summoning Yama? Oh, that's how they're playing around Droll. That's cute. I didn't realize Yama could add from graveyard to hand. That's clever. That's very clever of them. How about that? Popping Muckraker to summon the Sharvara, and then banishing the Yama to bring back Lacrima, and now they're overlaying again for High Caesar? High Caesar! Alright, okay, you know, our opponent played very well into their own Droll and Lockbird. I know the viewer special is to celebrate us, but let's give a second to acknowledge our opponent here, too. They did pretty well for themselves here, all things considered. We still have quite a bit of a board to break here. We're going to lead with the Esteller. They're going to go for the High Caesar effect, which does negate as well as destroy. Which sounds unfortunate, but it also procs both of our triple tax cards here. We can still set the tails that we sent off the Esteller here. We're going to use Triple Tactics Talent to steal the High Caesar. Makes sense, because now we can go for the Thrust in order to add Attract. Interesting. Going for Hallowed Azamina here, sending a Deception from hand in order to summon Mu Rishialago. Mu Rishialago effect. This is going to bait out the Unchained Soul of Rage. We can, of course, simply chain the High Caesar effect, to which our opponent's chaining Phantom. Now all of their disruption is gone. By the way, we're all good here as far as playing through their stuff. Also, looks like the Droll animation finally stopped up here. That's funny. Okay, they're making Little Knight. Mu Rishialago adds us Wanted. They can use Little Knight effect here to banish the Face Down, which they know is Tails, so that makes sense. We're chaining Wanted to the Spirit F in order to add the Diabell Star. And they banish Tails. Now we go Wanted F, put back Deception to draw. Battle Phase. Interesting. Okay, battling into the Yubel. Doesn't really do much good here, unfortunately. Oh, we tried to battle over Little Knight. I see. Yay, I can't do that, not while Nightmare Pain is up. And if our opponent had actually summoned the Yubel in attack mode, we would have also taken the damage as well, but they didn't do that for some reason. Okay, bringing back Lurie, we're going to make our own Little Knight here. Can use that in order to banish their Nightmare Pain. And we're going for Diabell Star. Diabell Star F in order to set. They're going to chain Little Knight. That's completely fine. Oh, I see. We chain our Little Knight to their Little Knight to banish those, and then Diabell Star sticks, and then now we have something to send off the OSS. No, we're setting Morian. Right. We're not playing Snake Eye. We're not playing Snake Eye, that's right. It took me a minute to remember that there. Okay, we're sending the Morian in order to go for the Ilia Sylvia. We can reset the Morian because we have the Diabell Star Or no, because we have the Ilia Sylvia in play. Right, you have to have an illusion monster to be able to do that. Not the Yubel Star. She is a spellcaster. Okay, here's Engraver. Got the Fiendsmith Requiem equipping to the Engraver. Engraver F on the Yubel. That does not trigger the Yubel because Engraver sends. And Yubel only summons Terra Incarnate when they are destroyed. Now we can go into sequence. Gamma is our opponent's last card! Really? But we have Ilia Sylvia. Oh, but Gamma's not once per turn, though. So it can still activate, though. I don't like that. Damn, Gamma is their last card. It's infuriating. I think we should have let the Gamma resolve there, because... Yeah, now they can Gamma again. And then... we could have had Ilia Sylvia going into their complete top deck. I mean, to be fair, we still have Morian going into their top deck, which should still probably be fine, but yeah, we could have had the Omni going into that instead. I guess, and the Little Knight, too. I forgot, each side would have had a Little Knight. Okay, they're making Phantom. We're going for Morian here. They're going to chain SP on both of the SPs. That's whatever, fine. Morian turned the Phantom face down. That's excellent. Now it can't be used as a material to link summon, and we also don't have to worry about it negating our stuff on the follow-up turn. Okay, they're going to bring back Engraver and go for, like, Requiem? This is fine. This doesn't do anything. Unless they have another extender. Oh, they're just going to... Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Send to the sequence and battle for 18. Set 1. SPs come back. Alright, going into our next turn, we've got a stellar great draw. We can use how it has a Mina effect here. Put back Ilia Sylvia to add. Moving to battle phase, we're crashing SPs. I really like that play, actually, to ensure that there was going to be no, you know, disruptions here. I think that was a very good play, yeah. Crashing the SPs. Because now we can just pop off here. We're pretty much just going to go full combo at this point. And there's not anything they can do about it, unless their face-down card is something. But they haven't used Imperm or anything yet, so... I think we're looking pretty good here. Alright. Azamina Aphis gets to set itself. We can special the LZ Azamina, sync our Yubel. Then LZ Azamina can add a Sinful Spoils card. Also still have the Rushia here, too. Can even we get to add back Tract as well off Yubel, of course. Yep, there's Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. So we can even special summon Rushia, which, yep, we are going to do, and then activate to send, yep, Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. Draw, oh my god, LZ was a great top deck there. Their last card was Cross Out, okay. And then we can just tribute the spell that's getting negated anyway, or send it rather in order to summon Sylvie. Oh, that lets us do Piercing! Oh, that lets us do Piercing! So we can... Wait, how does Phantom read? I think Phantom reads you don't take any battle damage from battles involving this card, which would mean we actually can't do Piercing to it. Yeah. So no Piercing, never mind. I got a little excited. We can send the Phantom, though, right? Because this is any monster, yeah. And now we summon Rushia, go into Baron, pop the face down, swing in for lethal. Is that what we're about to do here? Looks like it. That sounds pretty good to me. End phase, what? No! Wait, oh, we battled! Of course. We already battled with SP. Of course. And the face down monster is what, Engraver? I guess we could have popped it. It didn't really matter either way. We use Aphis to bounce both their Engravers, and they don't have any more plays. So I think now we can just turn Sylvie to attack mode and swing in. Yep, and that is exactly what we're doing. Beautiful. Love to see it. Alright. So that is going to do it for this viewer special. Thank you so much, Bad, as well as everybody else who submitted. Even if your games weren't featured, again, we do this every single week, so there is always the next one. And still, even if your game didn't get featured, your submissions do still matter, because if there were no submissions at all, then we could not do the viewer special. And I love this series. So yeah, I definitely appreciate all of you. But like I said, that'll do it. So let's move on now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's again free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.